Hello, everybody, and welcome tonight to Dover International Speedway here in the Original Rebels Racing League for the Smeal Racing Designs 150 here in the Saturday Night Send It Cup Series. My name is Zach Wetstein. I'm here tonight with Sam Wetstein. How you doing tonight?
Fantastic. Ready for some racing at the Monster Mile.
Absolutely. We got 150 laps ahead of us here at this really tricky 1 mile track, and we'll pull up your race information. Here we go. 118 degrees is your track temperature here tonight. Going to be a tough one. That's going to be a lot to manage. This track can eat up tires, and it can get really slick when it's that hot. So looking forward to seeing these drivers have to handle that loose race car all night long.
Yeah, it's a clear day. It's warm, not too hot, thankfully, but that track temperature, it's going to play with these cars, especially coming out of the turns. It's going to be tricky.
Absolutely. And before we get started here tonight, real quick, let me pull something up. Accidents happen, so get protected with Keswick Group. Find them on Facebook at Jason Reisman Life Insurance Agent or by email at reisman.getinsured@gmail.com. Once again, that's at reisman.getinsured@gmail.com. Shout out to them for sponsoring the series. And then we have here tonight, we have Smeal Racing Designs on board for this race here at Dover, so thanks for them for sponsoring this race. And they're actually going to be sponsoring a couple more races, I believe, tomorrow night and a future Xfinity race. So glad to have them on board, and hopefully we can put on a show here tonight. We're going to move on to our spotlight driver for tonight. We got Michael Swink, our driver spotlight of the week, age 39. He's from Louisville, North Carolina, but he currently resides in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. His best finish, 2 wins. His best track, Charlotte and Talladega. He works at Mercedes-Benz as a parts advisor. He went to college at Forsyth Tech. Family of 6 with himself, his wife Tommy, 4 kids, Brock, Alex, Kylie, and Tegan. His truck manufacturer, as you see there on the screen, on iRacing Toyota. And his favorite driver kind of coincides with that. His favorite driver is Kyle Busch. His favorite movie, which, I mean, it's a popular one, Days of Thunder. A lot of people like that movie when you talk about racing, and I mean, I for sure like it, and I'm pretty sure you do too, right? You like that movie?
Days of Thunder is an awesome movie.
Absolutely.
Beating, or was that Beating, Banging is Racing or something like that?
Rubbing is Racing.
Racing, that's the one.
Yeah, there you go. Favorite song and band, Pickup Man from Joe Diffie, and his Go ahead.
No, so I was just loving that song.
Absolutely.
I'm going to have it in my head the rest of the night.
And finally, hobbies, iRacing and racing RC cars. So that sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, that's those suckers will get going fast too.
Once again, that is your driver spotlight of the week. Shout out to Michael Swink. We are under qualifying here now.
Clint Reese putting up a smoking 22.060.
I was looking to see if Michael Swink was on track. We're going to get his qualifying laps, but he's not yet. Jason Warren on track here in a Toyota. Clint Reese, you mentioned, put down a fast lap. He's on the pole spot so far. Jason Warren, 9th fastest so far, 10th now with that first lap. Going to look to improve on the second one. See if he can't. That second lap, I noticed, I did some practice earlier, and that second lap, if you can execute, is really where those tires come into play, at least. And iRacing, the tires don't really get up to their best potential in 2 laps, but I noticed that the second lap definitely was a lot better than the first if you could execute. So Jason Warren, he does move up from 10th to 5th, and that means Clint Reese going to hold on to that pole spot for a little bit longer at least. Scotty Stevens on track now. Hopefully, hopefully a lot of these drivers here tonight won't need that Jason Reisman Life Insurance here tonight for their cars. you know that they don't have any quick repairs, and so one big wreck and you're out.
Yeah, that's this is a good night. It's a hard track to do it on, but you got to be careful. You got to be patient. These walls are close. There's no getting out of shape and hitting one of them.
Scotty Stevens. I mean, we saw Scotty Stevens qualifies third with that lap. We saw Jimmy Johnson here. I mean, this is his best racetrack, and he, I believe he missed a shift starting in the second row on the outside and collected a bunch of people on the front stretch. So, I mean, this track is just really tough, and man, I'm not envious of these people here tonight, or these drivers here tonight, because I only did a couple laps per run. I just did like 3 or 4 qualifying runs, and man, I mean, if you're a person who goes to the gym to get an arm workout, you don't need to do that the day that you're racing at Dover, because you'll get one.
Yeah, I know they don't technically classify a mile racetrack as a short track, but this thing races like a short track. There's no time to relax. You're on the wheel all the way around this track for every lap.
Tanner Marr here on track. He is currently qualified in P10. We'll see if he can improve on that second lap. Can't make a mistake, can't touch the wall, or else it won't count. So got to make sure to, you want to be as fast as you can, but it won't count. Even if you get a 0x, so you got to be very careful. Tanner Marr executes that second lap, and he's going to be P6 so far to start out this race. We got 17 qualified so far. Looks like Spencer Gay is going out on track.
Looks like we got a little under half the field deciding not to qualify this evening.
Yeah, I was going to give our spotlight driver a little bit more screen time, but I think he's chosen not to qualify.
Yeah, you got to make a decision. Do you want to start in the middle of the pack, or do you want to be in the back and try to avoid some early stuff? So,
well, Mickey Isaac and Spencer Gay right now, they're choosing to try to be as far up as they can. They're putting down qualifying laps right now. This is Mickey's first lap here. That'll move him up to 12th fastest so far. Got to be really careful on exit. You get on the gas too quick, you will get tight out of that turn, and that's kind of what happened there with Mickey Isaac. He stays P12. We'll go a little bit of an onboard here with Spencer Gay just to see what they're dealing with in the car.
Yeah, when you come out of these turns, you're coming uphill, and when you get to the straightaway, you're plateauing out. So it's like running over a bump, and if you hit it right, you can smooth right through there, but there's not a whole lot of place to hit it right.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many different things to this track. The hills, the bumps, that weird front stretch banking. I mean, just there's so much to this track that adds on top of each other to make it even more difficult. Looks like Charles Stevens going out on track. I wanted to get an onboard, so we'll get an onboard with him on his 2 laps. Yeah, those hills coming out of the turn can really mess your exit up. It can get your car loose, and that's the last thing you want to do here at Dover is get loose out of that exit, because not a very wide front stretch or back stretch to try to avoid hitting the walls or other drivers.
Yeah, it's decent banking here, and most bank tracks, you're going up into the banking, and here you're going down. So you're going downhill, and then you got to come back up to the back stretch, back up to the front stretch, and it can get you out of whack. And once you lose it here, you're going to hit something. You're not going to stop it.
Unless you're Jimmy Johnson during that qualifying session.
Yeah. Well, there are exceptions to the rule.
Very few exceptions, though. That was like 1 in a million what Jimmy Johnson did that day, saving that car.
And if you get around the green flag pit stops, there's another thing that you got to think about coming out of pit road here. The exit on the back stretch of pit road, you want to get in the gas, but if you get in it too early, you're going to spin out coming out of pit road. And if it's under green, you're going to cause some mayhem.
Charles Stevens puts that car in the 12th position. We'll go ahead now. Nobody else qualifying, so we'll take a quick look at the schedule for the series before we get gridded up here. All right, here we go. So next week we're heading to Auto Club for 100 laps. If you want to talk about bumpy racetracks, we're heading to one next week at Auto Club.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a tough one.
It's like driving on the moon.
And then after that, Kentucky and Chicagoland to round out the regular season. The playoffs are still being, I believe, a little messed with to try to get the right formula. I believe we're looking at right now, and this isn't official, but I believe what we're looking at a sort of one race elimination until you get to the champion. Well, just one race elimination every single race of the playoffs. So, again, that's not completely official. Don't take it as that's what we're doing, but I believe that's what's been kind of sparked up in talks.
It was the highest vote getter and seemed to be the most popular option to eliminate 2 after each race, which would make each race very interesting, I believe.
Yeah, so as of right now, Texas, Homestead, Talladega, Richmond, and Charlotte are your 5 playoff races. We'll see if that stays the same. And if it does, I mean, and we're talking one race elimination, immediately your eyes go to that Talladega race.
Yeah, especially the Talladega race.
But, yeah, that's the remainder of the schedule. I mean, we've already made it through so many races through the schedule already. It feels like it's just flown by, and we're getting down to the thick of it, getting to the playoffs.
I think we have just guaranteed the fact that me and you are both going to be racing on Sunday night from the campgrounds at Talladega.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. Trying to look at it right now. I don't know how many people actually make the playoffs officially. 16, I believe.
16. A win gets you in, and they fill the field out to 16 with by points.
So I don't think we have a graphic for. Oh yeah, we do actually. Shout out to Joaquin Meza. So right now, Cameron Combs, Clint Reese, Jeff Paisley, and William Paisley are all locked in to the playoffs. Michael Swink, William Griffith, Garrett Kinder, and Jason Warren are all sitting pretty points-wise right now. And then we have a bunch of people, and you can't see the graphic right now because I don't have it in OBS, so I can't show you. But there's 4 different colors on the thing that Joaquin has shared to us. Green is locked in, blue is really good chance, yellow is too close to call, and then red is a need to win. We have a lot of people in that yellow that are just too close to call. So we talk about how we're getting down to the thick of things, and a lot of people or a lot of spots left to still kind of lock in for the playoffs as we are. It looks like we're getting gridded up here. So sorry about that. We'll pull up the grid real quick.
Yeah, if you're looking at getting into the playoffs and you're in the race tonight and you're in that too close to call, your main thing tonight should be finish.
Absolutely. Pole spot goes to Clint Reese with a 22.060. Jeff Paisley on his outside in second. That second row, Scotty Stevens along with Will Paisley. 5th place, Jason A. Day with Tanner Marr on his outside in 6th. 7th place, Jason Warren with Joshua Sexton on his outside. 9th place, Cameron Combs, and rounding out the top 10 is Josh Lokenvents. 11th is Rich Yeoman with Charles Stevens in 12th. 13th, Mickey Isaac with Matt Geis in 14th. Chad Bassett in that 15th position, and on his outside in 16th, Chris Malcolm. And I'll throw the rest to you.
17th, we got Chris Heiner in the 24 car. 18th spot goes to William Griffith in the 12. Next row, we got Spencer Gay in 19th position. 20th going to Tyler Rice. Not seeing if they're gridded up. I do believe they are. Yes, here we go. 21st going to Tia Swank. 22, Garrett Kinder. The 23rd spot, our spotlight driver, Michael Swank, with the 24th spot going to Josh Oswald. The next row, starting 25th, Ray Page. 26th on his outside, Jason Lottridge. 27th going to Kyle Roberts with 28th, Chuck Feltz. And Brandon Wallace starting in the 29th position. Next to him, Magic Mike Uribe in the 30th spot with Dave Jones in 31st and Hitman Manzo rounding out the field in 32nd. It's time to go time, ain't it?
Great timing there, honestly, as the pace car pulls off, and it is go time here at Dover International Speedway. The green flag is out, and big tire spin from Clint Reese. Thankfully, he saves it because, man, he's right in front of the entire field.
That could have been ugly.
But he gets it collected, and he's going to be able to maintain that lead spot as Will Paisley is going to go under the 7. His father, Jeff Paisley, and he drops down. He's having an issue, it looks like. Oh, he has to, never mind. Okay, yeah. I remember. He has to serve a penalty. I apologize. I forgot about that, but now I remember.
Yeah, I'll do a simple drive-through and come back out. Should keep him on the lead lap, I believe.
He might go a lap down, but I think that's the worst it'll be. I doubt he'll go 2. As you see, he's still going through pits there, and everybody's going by.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that's 35 mile an hour.
Very slow through pits.
Under these conditions, it feels like you're walking. Well, Clint has really recovered from that tire spin. He is way out there.
Cameron Combs, your points leader as of now, fights his way into the top 5 over Jason A. Day. And, man, we have a lot of battling going on throughout the field. Chris Malcolm back here, he's fighting with William Griffith for the 15th position. And, okay, Clint Reese, I think, just blinks on my... Oh, no, he's in the wall. Clint Reese has an issue.
Yeah.
He wrecked. I thought usually if the leader's name drops, it's because they're blinking, but he hit the wall, and it looks like he hit it very hard. And I believe there might be...
I'm going to go back and take a look at that for us.
Yeah, we're taking a look as well, so it's all good. Out of turn 2, just hits the wall, simply. And big contact. Man, that's
that bump. That's that magic bump at the top of that hill, and everybody managed to get around him.
Man, tough luck for Clint Reese very early in this race for that to happen. Sucks for that, but hey, Scotty Stevens is thinking, thank you very much. He's now in the lead over Jeff Paisley, 1.6 second lead now.
That has brought Clint to pit road.
Yeah, that car is destroyed, and like we mentioned, no quick repairs, so that might just end his night, or at least end his night in terms of battle for the lead or really anything on the lead lap. He's just going to have to try to salvage spots throughout the race if people start to drop out for wrecks. Because I don't think that car is very repairable, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, he knows that he's going to have to get the car fixed as best he can, get back out there, turn some laps, and we have caution.
Yes, we do. Jason Lottridge is around on the front stretch. First caution of the race. And I think he blinks out right as the wreck happens, so... iRacing
got
being...
the 25 of Rich Hillman on the backstretch.
Oh, it looks like Jason Lottridge and Mike Uribe come together, and they hit on the front stretch, and obviously he blinks out until now, as you see Mike Uribe down there as well.
We had 2 separate wrecks then.
iRacing's just being great tonight.
Oh.
It's just blinking with a bunch of people's names, so we'll see how smooth iRacing goes tonight. But yeah, Rich Yeoman gets together. We'll see what happens here. Spencer Gay on his outside hits the wall and comes down and hits him really hard. Oh, Ray Page collected in that. And Josh Oswald just misses him. So a couple of pretty big hits here early in this race.
Yeah, Yeoman had an issue before that. Got loose, got slow, tried to get down out of the race groove, And I believe the same thing happened to the 11 car because he got a little loose and came down. That's when Yeoman was down to his inside and they got together.
Well, those people are going to for sure need that Jason Reisman life insurance now that their cars are basically totaled.
Well, at least their lives are intact.
Yeah, that's true.
And Will Paisley back on the lead lap. Lucky dog.
He will be in 24th?
Maybe. Yeah, he will. To make sure
Maybe
he didn't
Garrett
lose
Kinder
too.
was caught up in that as well.
He's on pit road for a while.
Oh, yeah, that front end's pretty messed up. So it looks like the back end of his car is okay. Just really the front end is a little messed up. We'll see how much that affects him. If he's down on RPMs, obviously that'll hurt him. But if he's not down on RPMs somehow, then I don't think that damage will affect him too much.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing on the car, I think he'll be all right as long as that engine's intact.
Sorry, y'all, forgot to change the... There we go. All right, so if this is your first broadcast, or just really if this is for anybody, Original Rebels Racing League, you see there on the screen all of our different series on there. Really, I mean, it just started out as kind of a truck series, and this Cup series was a one-off thing, I guess you could say, and it's grown into a lot more now. We have Xfinity, dirt, street stocks, anything you could really ask for. So yeah, we have, I'm not going to, usually before when we had a smaller graphic, I would say every series, but I'm not going to do that. You can see it right there on screen. I believe you guys can read pretty well. So
you can check us out at the Original Rebels League Facebook page. It'll have all the info you need.
Yep, Original Rebels Racing League, or Matt Geist, you can talk to him. We'll get you a Discord, get you on track. All three, all these series kind of collectively brought to you by Intensity Broadcasting, HAR-TV Esports, and Rebels Racing Network. And we are ready to go back racing. Now we're going to line up with Scotty Stevens and Jeff Paisley on that front row with Tanner Marr and Cameron Combs behind them.
I believe these guys, for the most part, showed a lot of patience during that first run. I think we'll get more of that here on this one.
We're about to find out. We'll see when Scotty Stevens elects to go. Pace car's off. He can go anytime now. And he's off. The green flag is out. Tanner Marr, we'll see if he's able to get a good enough jump to fight Jeff Paisley for that second position going into turn one.
Yeah, Jeff got a terrible start on that.
He's able to maintain that second spot. Here comes Cameron Combs for the third position.
Or it might have just been Scotty Stevens saying such a great jump. It made everybody look like they were standing still.
Yeah, I think that was really it. He got a magnificent jump, and nobody behind him was able to match it. Jeff Paisley seeing there in the 7, maybe just hoping for some luck today, gets kind of caught up in some wrecks that usually aren't his fault. So I'm going to try to give you the good luck vibes, Jeff. Hopefully you don't get caught up in that wreck tonight. Hopefully nobody gets caught up in any more wrecks tonight, but I know that he specifically gets caught up in a lot of crap. He's got a lot of cars behind him though, so he's got and Cameron Combs hits the wall. Oh, big wreck. Oh no, the 52 Jason A. Day, big damage to that car. They're wrecking behind him too. Rich Yeoman and Kyle Roberts. There's a lot to dissect from this. Man, I mean, that just shows you how tough this track is. I mean, Cameron Combs on the season. I'm not sure how many wins he has actually, but leading the points, and even he hits the wall and gets tight, and we'll check it out.
He hits the wall, bounces off, starts collecting people, and yeah, you're right. It's one little mistake can cost a bunch of race cars some damage.
Not sure who the other car was that got caught up in it. It was a orange car, but I'm not sure.
I got Chuck Phelps,
Oh, Chuck Phelps.
Kyle Roberts.
Early carnage here at Dover International Speedway.
Joshua Sexton was involved.
I believe Tanner has a little bit of front end damage. He was right behind Cameron when he checked up after hitting the wall, so he might have a little bit of front end damage, but probably not too bad. So Cameron Combs, luckily for him, won. Clint Reese, our leader earlier, he wrecked himself, but he already has a 70-point lead over Clint Reese right now with 4 wins on the season. So, I mean, it sucks for him and everybody else that got caught up in that wreck, but he can at least kind of sit pretty knowing that he's still going to be pretty good in points. Michael Swink is 3rd in points, and actually with Clint Reese wrecking himself earlier, Michael Swink currently, I'm not sure if he was caught up in that. I don't think he was. He's currently sitting 17th. It looks like as long as he stays out of trouble, he'll be able to take over that 2nd position in points.
Yeah, and I'm looking at pit road now. A lot of people down there, and one of them still Clint Reese. So his night might be over.
I mean, his car wouldn't be there if he quit, so maybe he's just going to get all that required. There's probably a lot of required repairs he had to get. So maybe he's just sticking it out, getting that required repair done, and eventually he'll join us back on track. He has a lot of laps left to try to get back out on track, thankfully. So, I mean, if he sticks around and does laps, even if he's slower, I mean, you got to give props to somebody who sticks around even with a beaten and bruised race car.
It's to his credit that he's down there still getting it repaired and trying to get back out. But he's been there for a while, so.
I mean, he hit the wall pretty dang hard, so that's probably a lot of required repairs. And for those who maybe don't do iRacing, when you get damaged and you don't have fast repairs that completely clean your car and kind of clean sweeps or gives you a clean slate in terms of your car, there's required and optional repairs required. You're stuck there once you start the required repairs until they end, no matter how long it is. So optional, obviously, I mean, you know the English language pretty well, I would imagine. So if you get optional damage, you can leave or you can stay and get that damage repaired. So I imagine he's sitting there with a lot of required repairs.
Yeah, and I checked out his car down here on pit road, and it's coming together pretty nicely. So hopefully they can get it repaired enough that because I've sat down there for 6 minutes of repair, got it fixed, got back out on the track. 2 laps later, I blowed an engine. Probably should have stayed for that 30 seconds of optional. We getting ready to go green.
Yes, we are. We'll see if this time we can get a cleaner run going. Only 19 laps in and 2 cautions, so we'll see if these guys are able to clean it up a little bit.
I don't want to throw the jinx on him or nothing, but our fearless leader, the 33 of Matt Geist, has moved up in the 4th spot.
I mean, we just have to take a look at that paint scheme real quick, right? I feel like.
Well, of course.
Scotty Stevens still your race leader with Jeff Paisley on his outside. Tanner Martin, like you mentioned, Matt Geist in 4th place. The green flag is now back out. A great jump once again from Scotty Stevens. And we are still side by side for 2nd. And these two have kind of been battling it out ever since they got to 2nd and 3rd. Tanner Martin with that little bit of damage from hitting Cameron Combs. Looks like he's doing okay.
Yeah, I'd say he's doing pretty good.
As as he is trying to track down our leader here early and take it away. If you can make a pass early and clean, definitely want to do that. If you can get that clean air here at Dover and not be stuck behind somebody, because it can be pretty tough to pass. So if you can make that pass early, probably going to want to do that. We're going to see if Tanner Marr is able to, but Scotty Stevens, he's holding his own right now.
Yeah, I think at this track, with the way things are going, I think I would sit with him for right now, take care of my stuff, and just keep the pressure on him enough to know you're back there.
Still looks like 21 cars on the lead laps, or 22. Spencer Gay is 22nd currently.
Yeah.
But a good amount of cars, unfortunately, kind of wrecked out of this thing early. And like we mentioned, no fast repairs. Our other series, we at least have one. But this one, you're one and done with these cars. So I think I like having no fast repairs just because, if you get a damaged race car because of somebody else, it sucks, but it happens, in racing all over the place. So
yeah.
Some are a fan of having it, some are a fan of not. But it just shows you got to be really careful and wrecking on the back. I think that's Chud Bassett. Tia Swink having to slow down, and people not hitting the brakes or coming in flying. Looks like he just got loose out of the turn. We're going to find out, though.
Yeah, he just called that out over race calm.
It looked like he tried to avoid the wall, and that subsequently got him loose. We're going to take a look behind his car. Gets loose, tries to avoid the wall, and, hits the other wall and then comes back to that wall. So eventually him and that wall do meet. And he's going to have to go down pit road and get those repairs. We'll see just how badly that car is damaged. Those are some pretty hard hits to the wall there.
Okay. I click on his car number and I get Tanner Moore. Oh, there it goes. Oh. One good thing about iRacing, somebody drove underneath him, hit him, and didn't get any damage.
Netcode at its finest. I believe Jason Day was maybe caught up in that, which he's already been caught up in a wreck, unfortunately, here tonight. Kyle Roberts with that earlier damage, but he's going to get back on the lead lap here, it looks like.
Oh, and Garrett Kinder trying to get around him. Got him a little wall action.
Well, Scotty Stevens, Tanner Marr, Jeff Paisley have been kind of your top three ever since Clint Reese wrecked himself. Scotty Stevens, Tanner Marr, and Jeff Paisley have kind of been our top three since then. Like you mentioned before that restart, Matt Geiss has moved his way up to fourth with Charles Stevens behind him running out that top five. We already have some pretty big movers, and I'm not sure if all of them have completely avoided the wrecks, but for the most part avoided the wrecks. And, we have names like Matt Geiss and Michael Swink that have moved up 10 spots. William Griffith, who's moved up 11 along with Brandon Wallace, and then Josh Oswald, our biggest mover, in 13 spots. Josh Oswald, sorry about that, has made kind of a name for himself for starting from the back and just making up a bunch of spots, because he's been doing that recently and he's been doing it well.
He's fast and he's patient. He knows, got an instinct for avoiding the trouble, so that comes in real handy in racing.
See if we get the one to go this time around. And as long as Scotty Stevens keeps getting those jumps that he's been getting, I think he'll be holding the lead for a while, for a good while longer now. As long as he don't make any mistakes under green flag conditions.
Yeah, we saw Clint Reese earlier do a little wheel spin there on the takeoff, and that has not affected Scotty Stevens so far, and I hope I didn't just jinx him.
Well, we're about to find out, right?
I get in the middle of talking about something, and I'm like, oh, well, you're done. It's happened about every Saturday night when I get on here. I talk about something. I talk about how you can't do something on the track, somebody does it, and then I talk about how patient somebody is, and they wreck. So I'll sit back and watch.
Will Paisley, who started 4th and had to serve that penalty, he's up to 9th already.
The kid is fast.
Yeah, no doubt he has at least a couple wins. I think he has three wins on the season, 10th in points. He doesn't race. I don't think he races every single week consistently. Why he's a little bit down on points, but 3 wins on the season, looking to make it 4 here at Dover, I believe. Yeah, that would match Cameron. And once again, Scotty Stevens just gets out to almost a half-second lead before the turn 1 by just getting such a good jump out of turn 4. Side-by-side battle once again. Tanner Marr and Jeff Paisley. Jeff Paisley has that inside line, but Tanner Marr's done a really nice job at passing Jeff for second no matter what line he's in, and he's going to do it again.
Yeah, you got to be real careful when you're up high like that in them corners. That wall will sneak up on you. Impressive he was able to make it work.
Everything's kind of single filed out now. This is not a track that you're going to see consistently too wide racing, that's for sure.
No.
You'll see the pass every once in a while, but that side-by-side does not last very long. Will Paisley, who we just mentioned, was in 9th. He's moved up to 7th now, so he gained 2 spots on that restart. Looking to make it 3 as he's trying to work on William Griffith here. But he has a good amount of cars in front of him to pass, and when they're all lined up like that, it can make it a little bit tougher, but I think he's going to do a little crossover to the inside. There he goes.
Oh, and got cut off.
William Griffith is going to make it as tough as he can. I mean, he has every right to race for that position. And, contact between the two. And they keep it going. The green flag's going to stay out, and Will Paisley saves it using the apron. And, William Griffith into the wall now. A lot going on here. As these two are still racing, and there's a little bit of bad blood here, so got to be very careful.
Oh, that was net code.
Oh, it was?
Never made contact, but
well, unfortunately,
the original.
These drivers don't know that. That's the bad thing about net code, is it can cause a wreck, and neither driver knows it until you check the replay. Hopefully,
he did come down a little going into the turn, but he was not making contact with him when the incident happened.
Hopefully race control will see that and let the drivers know that it was net code. Nobody's fault, really. But Scotty Stevens out to a 9-10 lead over Tanner Marr here. Not only has he been able to get off to a good jump, he runs away and he stays that far away.
It's amazing how he's classing the field here. But these top 4 drivers are spread out like that. And all 4 running different lines.
Yeah, the line's a little tricky here. I mean, there's not a lot of markers on track But you can run that middle groove and then diamond down, or you can try to run that bottom the whole way around. Running that bottom the whole way around can get a little tricky, but that's why you'll see it, these drivers at least a little bit above the apron. And a lot like Bristol, there's no yellow or white line in between the apron and the track. The track and the apron just meet. So if you get a little too low, you can hit that apron, and who knows what's going to happen after that.
It will get you out of shape.
Charles Stevens, he's gone up into 4th. Matt Geis has fallen back down to 7th. But Charles Stevens now getting to the back bumper of Jeff Paisley, so he's starting to show some speed here. As we're
they have the same car color.
As we're getting some green flag laps under our belt now, we'll see. I mean, as the more these guys kind of get strung out, the better chance that we're going to get a longer green flag run. So we'll see how long it is sustained. But so far, these drivers doing a nice job after that last restart.
And I think the most interesting race right now is between Jeff Paisley and
sorry, Matt Geis. He made a little bit of contact with the wall, and it got a little scary there. But Garrett Kinder, who we talked about, had that damage. He's working his way now up to passing William Griffith for 7th.
Charles Stevens making a run on Jeff Paisley, and he gets him on the front stretch.
Charles Stevens now into the top 3, and he's going to try to track down Tanner Marr now, but okay, it's just blinking, I think. Yeah. All right. Just blinking.
Yeah, that was a bit of gentleman racing right there. Jeff Paisley understanding Charles Stevens is faster than him, and he did not fight that hard.
I mean, that's the give and take you kind of got to have. If someone's faster than you and you know it, I mean, we watched and while it was netcode, we watched that Will Paisley, William Griffith deal, and they raced each other really hard, which you're allowed to do. But even though it was netcode, that's what can happen when you race that hard this early on. A wreck can happen.
Yeah, you want to be there at the end. You got a guy that's faster than you, just let him go. Let it shake out at the end of the race. We're not even a third of the way through now.
No, we're starting to get near that mark of a third of the way through. Charles Stevens has opened it up now to 1.7 seconds. The last time we were here, it was 9/10. So he's gained a lot of time over Tanner Marr, and he's starting to run away with it, and he's going to start seeing lap traffic here soon. We're starting to have, I mean, even more big movers. We got a lot of drivers now with 14 to 15 spots up from the original start. That includes Brandon Wallace, Kyle Roberts, Jason Lottridge, Michael Swink, Josh Oswald, and Garrett Kinder. All big movers in this race so far, 46 laps in.
Yeah, Garrett Kinder starting 22nd, running in 8th, and was not having a good time at the start of this race. So that's an impressive move. Maybe he was caught up in our first caution of the evening.
I believe so, too. Jason Warren, he started 7th. He's sitting 7th. We usually see him, and like you said, it's not really technically classified as a short track, but it's not a bigger mile and a half either. So I would think this is the kind of track Jason Warren would like. He's sitting 7th right now. We'll see as this race moves on if he starts to make up those spots towards at least the top 5. And we'll check in on our spotlight driver, Michael Swink, in that 30. And actually, I'm a little surprised because I'm seeing a Ford right there. And not to call him out. This isn't calling him out or anything, but I do remember him being a Toyota driver. So we'll have to talk about that, Michael. All right, you gotta stick with the manufacturer. No, I'm joking. I'm messing with Michael. But a nice run for him so far. He's up as looks like the 041 of Chris Malka having some issues, but Michael Swink now into the top 10 with that pass. He's 10th, up 13 spots, so our spotlight driver having a really good race so far. And there goes Jason Warren passing Will Paisley. He's now he gets a little loose, but he's into that 6th position now and 1.4 seconds behind Mickey Isaac for that top 5. And now we are a third of the way through this race and starting to tick off more and more green flag laps. And Scotty Stevens, I believe, has already gotten through some lap traffic. I could be wrong, but I believe he has.
And Will Paisley was moving forward before that incident and now seems to be moving backwards. So I wonder if that didn't have a little bit of an effect on his car.
That can not only have an effect on your car, but effect on the driver.
That's what I was going to say.
We always talk about rhythms, and you need to get into a rhythm, and caution's out. I thought I saw some names moving, but I thought it was just because
we have Cameron Combs sideways.
Tough day for Cameron Combs here at Dover. Just hits that wall again and hits it again. And Tanner Marr caught up in it. Along with Charles Stevens. Those drivers were having really good runs right there and caught up in that wreck.
Oh, good Lord.
And we are now seeing pit stops.
Second and third.
We're going to have to see now if Tanner Marr and Charles Stevens have to spend a little bit of extra time down pit road to fix that damage, whether they choose to do so or not. Well, we kind of got our first taste there before that caution came out of a kind of a medium long run. I wouldn't say it's a long run, but a medium-ish run there for green flag laps, and we started to see really the drivers to beat. And I mean, there's no doubt whatsoever that Scotty Stevens was one of the faster cars on track, if not the fastest. I wasn't looking at lap times, but at least in terms of how far ahead of second he was, I mean, almost 2 seconds.
Yeah, and Tanner Marr and Charles Stevens getting dinged up there. They were in that picture. So be interesting to see what that did. Tanner Marr gets back out into second place, so maybe he's good to go. I think Charles Stevens took a little bit more of a hit on that, though.
Yeah, he's back out on track now in 10th. Jason A. Day and Rich Yeoman stay out, but Rich Yeoman going down pit road. So Jason A. Day, the only car out there who did not pit this time around, and there's a lot of damage to that car.
Yeah.
Not sure how well this is going to work out for him, but we're going to find out. Hey, and there I didn't notice his car, but Clint Reist is back out on track.
Yeah, and he has managed to pick up 5 spots by being back out on track. So
there you go.
That's there's a bit of a reward for his time sitting in the pits.
I mean, you just watch these cars down that backstretch. They're going maybe 50, 60 miles per hour, and the back end of those cars are just bouncing because of those bumps. If you look at them down the back stretch, I'm not sure if it'll happen down the front stretch, but I mean, I really didn't notice that under the other yellows, but that's just really how bumpy this track is, that even going 60 miles per hour, those bumps are just really affecting that car.
Yeah, it's like driving on a Michigan highway. And for those of you who've ever driven on a Michigan highway, you'll know what I'm talking about. Rest of the country, it's bumpy.
Should get the one to go here. Lights are off. That wave around car is going to go all the way around the track. That's Dave Jones.
I wonder what Jason has for him here.
Well,
he doesn't have a bumper. We know
He doesn't
that.
have a front end or a back end.
He's missing some of his car, so it's going to make this restart interesting, I believe.
Well, luckily for Scotty Stevens and Jeff Paisley, if he does mess up on this restart, they are on the outside and can go past him pretty quickly if he doesn't go up. But Tanner Marr going to be stuck behind him if he does make a mistake. I'm not saying he will, but if he does, with those older tires and pretty beaten up car.
And another shout out for our spotlight driver, Michael Swain. Up to 8th place, starting from 23rd. Good going.
Pace car's off. Jason Day, your control car for the field here on this restart. He's holding them. The green flag is out. He gets off to a smooth start, but we'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah, and Scotty Stevens thought he was still a leader. He started to take off.
Side by side, there's Jason Warren. I mean, he sits in 7th or 6th place, and we're like, will he have what it has to win? And, I mean, not too much longer. Now he's about to try to race for the lead as that 52 is starting to drop back.
Yeah.
He may not be in the picture to start off, but he'll be there in the middle to back end of the race. And we're not even to the middle of the race.
No. But they did what expected. I thought they would split this into thirds, 5,100 on pit stops, make it on 2 pit stops for the... Ooh, and Warren getting a little loose.
Ooh.
Nice save. Going for the lead.
Battle for the lead continues, but not for much longer. Scotty Stevens going to try to fight back, but Jason Warren just too strong right there. And now we're going to see what that 32 car looks like in clean air.
Yeah, that's scary, giving him the lead.
We saw Scotty Stevens run away from the entire pack last time he was in the lead. Now in that dirty air, we'll see if he's able to stick with Warren or if Warren will just run away with it as, he almost touches the wall a little bit there.
Yeah, he took a peek at going inside of Jason. But it closed up rather quickly.
Yeah, these tires just still trying to build some heat up in them, and he taps the wall a little bit there. So maybe down the back stretch out of turn 2, Jason Warren not too comfortable just yet.
I got to say, I think every race we've called this season, we've seen Warren at least scrape the wall one time. So
Scotty Stevens fighting back, though. He is not giving up this lead too easily. He is going to make Jason think about whether the fact that Scotty Stevens might catch him or not. Because if you just run away, you don't really have to think about it. You can just look at your own race.
Yeah.
You can think about your own race. But if that car is sitting in your mirror constantly, I mean, you can't help but think about it.
yeah, Jason's going to have to. He's going to have to try not to look in the mirror. He's going to have to try to run perfect every corner because Scotty Stevens is fast, and one mess up and he'll go take advantage of it.
We're seeing Jason Warren. I mentioned you can run that low line all the way around, but it's not probably the way to go, and that's what Warren's doing. He's running lower than Scotty Stevens is, and Scotty's getting a better run off the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see it here, Scotty's going to go up, Jason's going to stay down, but Scotty's going to diamond it down on exit, and, well, they're about even there, but for the most part, Scotty's been getting really good runs off the turn, just not been able to get to Jason Warren to try to pass him. Because if you're not already side by side before going into turn 1 or 3, you're not going to make that pass most likely. So you got to be at least up even with them.
I think he overdrove that corner just a little bit. Scotty Stevens wants back up front, and he wants to back up front now.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to lose that control of the race. Not only that clean air, because the clean air does go away when you get into lap cars, but not only the clean air, but the restarts. I mean, we've seen how important it is to get really good jumps on the restarts, and that's what Scotty Stevens has been doing all race. He's had control of the field, and, well, if a caution were to come out now, obviously he wouldn't. So, sorry about that. He obviously wants to get up to that lead spot as quickly as possible, just in case a caution comes out.
Yeah, and I think he spent the last couple of laps getting his tires back underneath him, and he's going to try to make a run. Lap car of Ray Page there.
Yeah, the 41 Ray Page.
Almost made that interesting. Ray was staying out of the way, but the leaders were not. I don't know if they saw him coming.
The battle for the lead still going on, but they're starting to run away from third place Jeff Paisley, who's fought his way back into the top three. Tanner Marr, not sure if it's the damage, but he's fallen outside of the top three, back to fifth now. William Griffith, he has some damage from that net code with Will Paisley, and he's still inside the top 10 and sixth right now. And Michael Swink, you mentioned he restarted eighth. He's up to seventh with Will Paisley right behind him.
Oh, Scotty Stevens making a move. I think he's getting beside him and takes the lead. Oh, almost came up a little too early on him, but clears him, takes the lead.
I mean, if Scotty Stevens checks out right here, I think we really for sure know who has the car to beat here tonight. I mean, He has been fast every single lap of this race, and he has passed Jason Warren back up, and he's already starting to gap him.
I think Warren has figured out that if you can get around him early, you can hold him off for 10 laps. And, maybe that comes into play at the end of the race, a late caution. But if this thing goes green for a while, Scotty's going to be in a whole different zip code.
I mean, when you look at the iRacing tire model, it can take 5 to 10 laps for those tires to really build up heat. And that's, I mean, if you want to get a good enough run to pass somebody, you're going to need those tires to build up that heat, the air temp. So, I mean, sorry, I didn't mean air temp. But yeah, it's got to build up temperature in that tire. And well, it looks like about 10 laps later, he's made that pass over Warren, and he is running away a second already.
Yeah, what was interesting is now a walk in the park for a little while.
As Jason Warren 1.2 second, I mean, Scotty Stevens just running away with it. Jeff Paisley, he's in front of Mickey Isaac in third right now, but Mickey trying to maybe do the same thing that Scotty Stevens just did. He's starting to work his way to the back bumper of that 7 machine to try to make a pass for that podium spot. And Will Paisley has passed Tanner Marr. He's up now into the top 5.
Yeah, I don't know if Tanner's car is the problem right now, or maybe Tanner got a little out of shape and out of rhythm. But I wouldn't expect him to fall too far back unless that car is just not cooperating.
As we are now halfway through this race, Garrett Kinder, he's up to ninth now, making a pass on Chris Malcolm, and he's going to look to catch up to Michael Swink and William Griffith, who are battling it out for the 7th position. He's starting to move his way up as these green flag laps start to tick by. Matt Gardner rooting on Scotty Stevens for the lead, saying get that back earlier, and he has, so I imagine Matt's pretty happy about that.
We need to get somebody cheering on the broadcaster.
As Garrett Kinder makes a pass on William Griffith for that 8th position, and Michael Swink, who just passed William, has kind of ran away. We'll see if Garrett's able to catch up to him. I will say, I mean, Scotty Stevens has built a 2.5 gap over Jason Warren, but I think Jason has started to kind of even it out a little bit more because he was falling back pretty quickly. But he's battling the 52 right now. That 52 is now a lap down. We saw him stay out that last caution. So,
yeah, Scotty Stevens' last lap was 0.4 of a second faster than Jason Warren.
Jeff Paisley 1.4 seconds behind Jason Warren, so it's not really like Jason Warren's slow. I mean, we know he's not. Oh, caution on the backstretch, Philip Manzo.
Jason just avoided that too.
Oh man, it might have been with our next to our right next to our leader. We'll see if he made any contact. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh man, contact to the leader. That is quite possibly the worst place for that to happen, for sure. Looks like Scotty was coming to his inside, and he just came down. Yeah. And that thing looks like a modified now.
Well, it pretty much looked like a modified before the wreck.
See how much damage, not very much damage, if at all, to that 53, so he looks like he's fine. We'll see if people pit here. We do have some takers, kind of that middle of the back half of the pack. As well, no, actually more than that. Jeff Paisley and everyone behind him has pit, so only the top 3 stayed out.
70 laps to go. Not a bad call. Get off pit strategy with the leader. We know they're going to have to pit one more time. I don't know if you can go 70 laps here, but I don't know if I would want to be on 70 lap old tires going around this track.
I don't know if I mean, they might be saving a tire set just in case, but we ran a good amount of green flag laps there that probably ate away at those tires. And they'll come out. Jeff Paisley will be 4th with, I believe, Rich Yeoman stayed out. We'll see if he pits this time around. Will Paisley would be 5th behind him if that happens.
So only 2 tire sets here tonight?
I'm actually not sure. So if you can, I mean, you can check it if you go to the iRacing info.
I will.
Okay. I would imagine they have more than 2 tire sets for 150 laps. I would say at least 4, or 3 or 4.
Yes, 3 sets of tires. I don't think it's a bad call right here. You're sitting in 4th with fresh tires. Your off-pit sequence with the leader could come into play later in the race. Everybody came with you. It's not a bad call. One of these 3 guys up front is thinking, well, maybe I should have went too.
Well, I mean, so these drivers that pit this time around have pit 2 times now, so they have 1 tire set for the remaining 50 laps or so. Or not 50 laps, 70, sorry. And these drivers who didn't pit are going to have 2 tire sets. So I really think it's just the tire set game right now.
Yeah, it's strategy. It never hurts to be off sequence with the guy that can outrun you by half a track. So, you know, it could you get a long green flag run, they got a pit, you still got tires underneath you.
But hey, if we get, say, a 30, 40 lap run, caution, then everybody pits for tires. Those people who just pit are out of tires, and then we have another 10, 15, 20 lap run and a caution. And those guys are going to be left without tires, and that's really when you're going to be in trouble. But that's the great thing about, I mean, racing is there's so many different things that can happen and so many different strategies that you don't know which one's going to work until you get to the end of the race. So, yeah, it could work out for the guys who took tires if we have a lot of green flag laps and not too many cautions, or it could work out for the guys who stayed out if we do have a decent amount of cautions to end this race.
Well, if we're talking to Jeff at the end of the race, it'll be a great move, won't it?
Yeah. right, 3 cars on older tires there in the top 3. Jeff Paisley in that 7, and everyone behind him on 4 fresh Goodyear tires. The green flag is out. You got to be very careful on old tires not to spin them, and Scotty Stevens does a great job at that. Jason Warren's, he didn't spin them, but he did have a little slow of a start just to maybe make sure he didn't spin those tires.
Yeah, he got a little out of shape, I think.
And so we're about to start seeing these fresh tires really come into play as they start to build up heat. First lap or two, they might not look like they make too much of a difference, but we're coming to 2 or 3 laps in, and I mean, you're seeing they're about to cruise up to Jason Warren here.
But are those tires going to be enough to get Jeff up to and past? Well, 3 wide.
Oh, 3 wide, not going to work out.
Yeah. Is that going to get him enough to get up here and get by Scotty Stevens?
Oh, absolutely. I don't care how fast you are. The big tire difference here, 28 laps, absolutely. I think he's more concerned about can he stay ahead of his son. Caution's out. Now the question is,
Scotty saw that run coming too and let those 2 go.
Now the big question is, I mean, we only ran a couple laps, so the tires aren't going to be too worn out on those cars, but the cars who stayed out, do they choose to pit this time, or do they stick to their guns and stay out just because that wasn't too long of a run? If that was, say, 15 laps longer, then these guys who pit last time would have to pit again with Scotty Stevens most likely, unless they wanted to save that set, then they would stay out. But that was barely maybe 4 laps, so I doubt we see these guys who just pit go into pit road, but maybe we'll see those guys who stayed out go down to get 4 fresh tires.
I think we're going to see these guys coming right now. Now that's going to be interesting to see the 53 with fresh tires starting about 15th.
I don't think for a little while it'll really, the guys on that pit before this, I don't think there will be too much of a difference, but if we start getting a longer green flag run, I think we'll finally start to see those tires differ out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm thinking the difference there is the speed of Scotty Stevens versus some of the guys back here in the back of the field that he's going to have to pass.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been lightning fast today.
He's going to have to be patient. Still a long way to go. 62 laps at this point, so he's got time to get back up towards the front. We're going to see an all Paisley front row. Will, who went a lap down and served his drive-through penalty and has made his way all the way back up to second place. So good run for him. We know from talking to him before that racing around his father is a little nerve-wracking.
And William Griffith, even with all that damage he attained earlier from that net code, up to third. And Garrett Kinder behind him in fourth, and Michael Swink rounding out that top 5.
Yeah, that was a great move for those 2. Kyle Roberts up to 8th from 27th. Jason Lottridge, up to 8th from 26th. Kyle Roberts has moved up to 7th from 27th. So great moving from these guys, avoiding the trouble. And, well, of course, William Griffith didn't avoid all of it, but he's taking advantage of moving up here. And old Tanner Marr still in the picture. He's in the top 10.
Alex said, "Go Sam and Zach. Y'all call that race real good." So
see, we have a fan.
On now. Appreciate it, Alex. We don't get enough love up here. Nah, I'm joking. So yeah, Paisley's across the board on this front row here. See which one is able to keep that or get that lead or keep the lead here, though. I don't think Will's going to care that it's his father. He wants that lead.
Oh yeah, he said that before. He said, "I want the lead." He says, "I just don't want to wreck him to do it." Now, last lap might be a different question.
I don't think you want to wreck anyone. I mean,
No,
to
you
win
don't.
the race, especially your dad. I mean, I wouldn't. But even if it's your father, you're willing to make moves that you usually maybe wouldn't. Not wrecking, but more aggressive moves than usual, maybe. Garrett Kinder in that 76 going to be starting on that outside row
Yeah.
behind Will. So if Will can get a good jump, that'll also help Garrett. And if he can get up front, he's fast when he gets up front too. So
Hannah Marr, Michael Swink, Charles Stevens in the picture. We got a lot of fast drivers up here.
yeah, and when we do spotlight drivers, sometimes it jinxes them. And Michael Swink trying to flip that around. He's doing a nice job so far. Pace car's off. It now is up to Jeff Paisley when this group goes. The green flag is out. He held them a little bit longer than we've really been seeing, and it works out for him. He is clear and gone for the lead. Will Paisley second, William Griffith third, and Garrett Kinder fourth. So really that top five stays all the same, except Tanner Marr makes a pass on Michael Swink.
Yeah, I was wondering in the back of my mind if they were communicating on the start to let each other know when he was going to go. I don't think he did.
So Jason Warren had a better pit stop than Scotty Stevens, as he is ahead of Scotty by position with Kyle Roberts in between them. And Jason is now up to the 8th position on those 4 fresh Goodyear tires. So we're going to start to see if these guys can start to make their way through the field. And I think we have a battle for the lead.
Yeah, Will's taking a look.
Jeff getting really close to that wall. You run that high line here, you're real susceptible to hitting that wall, getting tight. So good job by Jeff not hitting that wall, and his son is going to take the lead away from him. Will Paisley to the lead, and I mean, can't really say we're surprised. He's won 3 races this season so far.
Yeah, and he's got enough speed in that car. He's going to check out like Stevens was earlier.
Yeah, Scotty Stevens, he's proven to be fast tonight, but Will Paisley somehow, it doesn't matter how his car looks throughout the race. If he gets that lead spot, that clean air, he just somehow holds on to it no matter what speed he has in that car. So it's going to be a little bit of a tougher fight now for Scotty with Will. Not saying anybody else couldn't have held Scotty off, but Will Paisley is not friendly when it comes to giving up that lead spot, nor should really anybody be.
No. He's got a long way to go just to get up to him.
Yeah, because, you got to remember, Scotty Stevens has to get back past Jason Warren first. And Scotty Stevens is 1 second back from Jason right now. So a better pit stop from Warren puts him ahead of Scotty and a little bit of a better position right now as we go now to lap 97. Looks like Garrett Kinder is starting to try to work on the back bumper of William Griffith to get to that 3rd spot. Tanner Marr and Michael Swink behind him. He's going to actually look to the outside. You don't really see that much. Maybe you're going to dip down on exit here and get a really good run off. And I think, caution's out. Oh, big wreck. Jason A. Day and Ray Page get together here. Oh, wow. Someone in front of him blinking out actually is wrecking, and that causes those two to win. Well,
That's a 99.
After that wreck, I got to say, accidents can happen just like that. And when they happen, you want to make sure to be protected. So get protected with Keswick Group. Find them on Facebook at Jason Reisman Life Insurance Agent or by email at reisman.getinsured@gmail.com. Once again, that is at reisman.getinsured@gmail.com. We'd also like to give a shout out to Smeal Racing Designs for sponsoring tonight's race. They will be sponsoring, I believe, tomorrow night as well, and an Xfinity race in the future in April. So shout out to them as well.
Smeal does some great work on these iRacing paints. So if you need a paint done, you got to look them up.
Yeah, I checked them out on Facebook for this race, and I looked at some of the paints they do, and yeah, definitely they put some nice paints together. So yeah, you can check them out on Facebook, and I believe you can contact them through that to get a custom paint from them. So yeah, make sure to contact them if you need one done. Like you said, and like I saw when I checked the page out, some really nice paints done.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I went back and looked at that. Brandon Wallace got loose coming out of 2 and bounced off the inside wall back up into Ray Page. He gonna need a new paint job. He can go talk to Smeal.
Might need a new car, honestly.
Well, that too. 50 laps to go. I got a set of tires in the pits. Everybody does, or everybody up here in the top 10 are down to one set of tires. I wonder if they can make it on fuel the rest of the way. Or are they going to, if we go green, is that going to come into some green flag pit stops? It's going to be some drama coming up.
I think if you couldn't make it by now, I think we would have seen those drivers. If this was their window, we would have seen them pit already. So even if they didn't get tires, just to at least get fuel. So I'm pretty confident they can probably make it. At least that's what I would do. If I pit outside the window and then we got inside the window, I would definitely pit again to make sure I can make it. But we'll find out.
What are those tires going to be like if we make a 50-lap run from here? What'll turn out to be about a 48-lap run.
Should get the one to go this time by. So we'll restart on lap 103. And yeah, we'll have 47 laps to go.
We got Scotty Stevens has moved up to 9th with Josh Oswald 8th, Jason Warren 7th. Some past drivers back there, Michael Swank. Tanner Marr still hanging around even with that damage, so he's got to be wheeling that car.
Yeah, if Scotty Stevens and Jason Warren can get back up here, what can they do with it? If and when they do, got to stay out of the trouble. Obviously, you see them there in that 5th row, the 53 and the 32. Actually, I think I was looking at the wrong car. No. Yeah, Jason Warren's in front of Scotty, not on his outside, sorry.
Yeah.
Charles Stevens and Jason Warren from a distance. I believe that's... Nope, I think that's Kyle Roberts. Never mind. Kyle Roberts and Jason Warren from a distance, they kind of look similar from the front.
Yeah.
Pace cars
Yeah,
off.
definitely. Time to go time.
Will Paisley, now your control car. The green flag is back out here at Dover International Speedway. And Will Paisley going to go into turn 1 with really no one racing him for the lead, as is Jeff Paisley behind him in 2nd now, with William Griffith and Garrett Kinder 3rd and 4th. Tanner Marr recovering from that little bit of damage earlier when there was a spin right in front of him, or well, when there was a checkup right in front of him, and you see a little bit of front end damage to that car, but not affecting him too much, still inside the top 5. And I mean, this shows with traffic. I mean, Scotty Stevens and Jason Warren, we know how fast they are, and it looks like Scotty's actually about to make a pass on Josh Oswald, but we know how fast these two cars are, and they're still struggling to get through traffic.
Yeah. Yeah, they're everybody up here in this top 10 right now is fast. It's going to be tough for them to make it back up to the front. Not saying they ain't going to do it. They're going to have to work hard to do it.
Scotty Stevens been looking to the low side of Josh Oswald here for a little while now, but not been able to get up next to him, which he's going to be able to do. And I think Josh maybe just kind of gave that up, said you're faster.
Yeah, that's I think that was a case of Josh wanting to get to the end of this race. I want to force the issue with a guy who's faster than you are.
Garrett Kinder once again trying to find a way to get past William Griffith here. William, with all that damage, doing a really nice job at maintaining that top 3 position. Can he do it for 43 more laps, though? And maybe not. Maybe he can. Sorry, William. I asked if you could do it for 43, and unfortunately you couldn't do it for 1. That's my fault.
That was a good, strong move by Garrett coming down into that turn. Or actually, William Griffith is dropping back now.
Yeah, he's stuck on that outside, and everybody's going to that inside, keeping him locked up there. I think he'll be able to fall in behind Scott. Well, actually, Scotty leaves a pretty good gap in between, so William might be able to sneak in there, and he gets loose right in front of Scotty, and Scotty's going to need a change of pants after this race now.
Well, that depends.
Now Jason Warren working on Michael Swink for the top 5 spot, and Tanner Marr as well, and maybe these fresher tires starting to come into play now. They're only about 4 or 5 green flag laps fresher, but maybe as these tires wear off, that means a lot more as we go on.
Yeah, those guys got a lot of work to do to get up here, and Will is checking out.
Will Paisley in that 93 Chevrolet up to a 1.1 second lead over Jeff Paisley right now. So not out of it yet is Jeff Paisley, but he is still a second back.
No, and you got a pretty good lead over Garrett. You're second, pretty solid. Just take care of your equipment. Don't make a mistake on your own, and see where it shakes out at the end.
Garrett Kinder up into that 3rd position after passing William Griffith. And here goes Scotty Stevens. He's passing Michael Swink. He made it past Tanner Marr as well. So Scotty Stevens kind of following the foot tracks of Jason Warren right now, getting through traffic. And every time he does get about a second behind Jason every time, just because Jason gets through this traffic a little bit better than Scotty does.
Yeah, and another thing to watch out for, this track temperature is not going down. It's going up. Your tires are getting older. I've seen Will having to wheel it through the turns here a couple of times. I think the track's changing on us.
Yeah, I mean, I think we started at 100 and maybe 15, 16 degrees Fahrenheit, and now we're up to 124, so you're absolutely right. It just gets hotter and hotter, and a pass for 3rd, Jason Warren over Garrett Kinder. And this is the territory that we're about to get into here, where we are into a long enough run that if a caution comes out, everybody that has tires is going to pit, and that's going to leave some of these drivers without a tire set and some with.
Yeah, as well as getting around some lap traffic up here. Now the guys behind him are going to have to try to get through and just to get up to him.
Jason Warren is flying right now. I think we're really, really starting to see the difference in tires, as he is just, everybody he gets to is passing immediately, and he's getting to him fast.
Garrett Kinder falls victim to Scotty Stevens now, so Stevens following him around.
I still think Scotty Stevens is faster than Warren. I could be wrong, but in terms of working through traffic, like I said, I just think Jason Warren's doing a little bit of a better job at it. But he's catching Jeff Paisley here in that 7, and I mean, that's his son in the lead, so I think he's going to fight for as long as he can.
Yeah, he's holding second. Well, maybe not.
Jason showed the cards, and Jeff didn't want to block, which is pretty smart. And now Jason Warren into that lead, 1.7 seconds back, and plenty of time left in this race. And Scotty Stevens is not far behind Warren here. But, a slow car and exit. That's going to hurt Scotty a little bit.
Yeah, it almost impacted Will. Went high around him back there in turn 4.
That gap has gone from 1.7 to 1.4 in 1 lap. So these two definitely catching up to Will. It's just who's going to catch Will first, because if Scotty's faster, they have some time in between themselves and the leaders. So maybe possibly Scotty can make the pass on Jason before they get to Will, and he would be the one passing for the lead.
Yeah. Oh, and we got lap car just slowed Will down a little bit. That didn't help.
30 laps to go this time by for William Paisley in the lead. But he has 2 drivers that are looking really fast coming up behind him. As he's continuing to deal with lap traffic, but Jason and Scotty will have to deal with that same traffic. It's all about where you catch them. It doesn't matter how fast you are if you catch them in the wrong part of the track. I mean, Will Paisley caught him into the turn, and Jason, in the middle of the turn, I would say, and Jason catches him before the turn, which makes it easier to pass. So it's all about when you catch that lap car.
Yeah, and we're down to under a half-second lead here for William Paisley.
Man, if a caution doesn't come out the rest of this race and Jason and Scotty find their way past Will, it's going to be a heck of a battle for the lead.
Yeah, it is.
But, hey, it's still going to be a heck of a battle, because I know, and you know, that Will Paisley is not going to give it up without a fight, even on a little bit older tires.
He'll race it clean, but he'll race it hard. He's not going to give that lead up. Simply, and Scotty Stevens gets a little wall contact at the start-finish line.
Oh, man, that's gonna slow him down for sure. That's going to hurt that effort that he's been building, and he's going to lose 6/10 behind Jason Warren now. So we're starting to run out of laps. We're getting to 25 laps to go. As those laps start to shrink, less and less mistakes that can happen, or else you're just not going to be able to win the race. They have gotten to this half-second gap or so, and Will Paisley's held his own ever since. I mean, maybe it's just the lap traffic, but ever since Jason got to about half a second gap, he hasn't really gotten any closer.
No, I think, and Jason Warren gets a little wall contact coming up to the start-finish line. He's pushing it hard. I think Will's got more than what we thought he had. Maybe he was playing with him, holding off, and they got within a half a second, and he started pushing again.
I really think it's just that lap traffic. I mean, he has clean track in front of him, and he's running faster lap times than anybody on track. That are on the same tires, of course.
Yeah.
Jason Aday ran a pretty fast lap, but he's on newer tires. .7, almost now 0.8 second lead Will Paisley has over Jason Warren, doing a really nice job at holding him off now, and just has to hold on for 24 more laps as these and I mean, Jason Warren's struggling right now.
Yeah, I think I don't think Warren's comfortable after a certain amount on them tires. Where Scotty Stevens a little bit more of a long run guy.
I think Scotty Stevens and Jason Warren right now are maybe hoping for a caution, get fresh tires again, and race for that lead, because Will Paisley now 1.3 second lead over these two.
Yeah, coming to 21 to go. Yeah, they're thinking, I could use a caution.
As maybe a pass for second. Jason going to close that off, though. Scotty Stevens has to work really hard to make this pass. Jason Warren not going to give it up with ease.
Warren getting a little slippery coming off the 4 and going into 1.
Oh, and Scotty Stevens hits
Scotty.
the wall. No caution's going to come out. He stays straight, but Big damage to the 53.
Well, I got to say that that's going to make the rest of his race irritating because he's out of contention now, I believe.
Yeah, that's going to leave a bad taste for sure. I mean, so dominant throughout the race. Was going to get a top 3 there, pretty much confirmed if a caution didn't come out. And now he's just fighting to hold on for 6th as Michael Swink going to try to make a pass on him now. And that'll move Garrett Kinder into 3rd right now. But Will Paisley, a 2.5 lead over Jason Warren now with 19 to go. The last thing he wants to see is that yellow flag.
Yeah, I think Will's the only guy on the track that don't care for a new set of tires. He's just, let me go. The only flag I want to see is the checker.
The white and the checkered are the only only flags he wants to see. But we know with my track record of broadcasting, we always get a green-white checkered. So sorry, Will, it's bound to happen.
Yeah. At least on these Saturday nights. I tell you, Warren's giving it all he got. He looked almost dirt tracking coming out of 4.
It's down to 1.3 seconds now. But Warren can sit pretty comfortably, at least knowing he'll finish 2nd if we go green the rest of the way. 2.9 seconds back to Garrett Kinder in 3rd. Garrett not as, I mean, he has a 7/10 gap, or a 5/10 gap over Mickey Isaac. So not as of a secure position as Jason Warren, but he is still sitting in a pretty good spot here in 3rd. Really nice driver. I know it's not over yet, but a really nice job by these drivers after kind of the first half being a little caution-filled to really start to stretch it out the second half of the race.
Yeah, there's been some good racing here tonight. And some good racing still left to go. Because this track is, you got to be on it every turn. So one little slip up, we saw it with Scotty Stevens, one little slip up from Will. And so he's got to concentrate not on the flag, not on the competitors. He's just got to make sure he hits his marks and gets to that checker flag.
Right now, let's move through your biggest movers before we get a lot closer to the end of this race. Mickey Isaac has gotten to the back bumper of Garrett Kinder. I was just about to talk about Garrett Kinder, up 19 spots. Mickey Isaac trying to make it 18, though. But Garrett Kinder right now in 3rd, started 22nd. Michael Swink, our spotlight driver, 17 spots up from where he started this race, with Josh Oswald in 8th. He's up 16. Kyle Roberts, 17 spots up from where he started in 27th. He's 10th right now. Jason Lottridge, the last car on the lead lap as of now, 13 spots up from where he started this race. He currently sits 13th. Will Paisley, he's only moved up 3 spots from where he started, but he did start this race with a drive-through penalty, so it's just as if really he started from the back, and even worse, a lap down.
Yeah, that's yeah. I don't know. You put good money on that. Put me a lap down at the end of the field, and I'm going to win the race, and I'll bet you. I'm like, I think I'd probably take that bet.
3 seconds over Jason Warren now, so he is sitting comfortable. Like we said, the only really thing that can stop him is himself or the yellow flag. So I know he's going to run consistent, not really fast, like too fast to get out of control, but he's going to run consistently smooth laps to make sure he doesn't put himself in any danger, which there really is no reason to with a 3.5 second lead. No. Anticipating that caution, which I would too. I mean, anyone who sits in the lead at the end of a race is always just anticipating that caution flag.
Yeah, every time you cross the start-finish line, you're like, no wreck, no wrecks, no wrecks. And then you get back to making your marks in the turns. He doesn't even have to push it right now. Just calmly get around this racetrack, and you're going to take it home.
Someone who is going to have to really earn their finishing position is Garrett Kinder. If he wants to finish third, he is going to have to earn it, as Mickey Isaac is all over him right now trying to make a pass for that third spot. Garrett Kinder always seems to be one of the toughest drivers on track to pass, and he's proving that right now. It looks like Mickey Isaac is faster, but he's just holding his own, not making mistakes as of now. I say as of now because I want to try not to jinx him in the mistake department, but
yeah,
as of now, and caution is
out,
and that is going to mix it up. Charles Stevens around in turn 1 and 2, it looks like. Nope, 3 and 4.
Into 35.
Dover, a lot like Bristol, other than the fact that you don't have grandstands on the backstretch. When you're in the middle of the turns, it can be hard to tell where you are sometimes. As, oh man, a dead left for the 35, and then, wow, Charles Stevens just gets loose, maybe reacting to it. And pit road is about to be a very active place.
Oh, who's going to stay out? Somebody will, you know.
For the most part, everybody's staying out and just getting the wave around. I don't think we've seen a lead lap car yet stay out. Jason Lotridge, actually.
Who's going to take 2 tires?
Oh, no, I think that's the wave around, yeah. So everybody on the lead lap, except for Jason Lotridge. He'll pit in a lap or 2 since he got the free pass. But everybody on the lead lap comes down pit road. Who can execute the best? Jeff Paisley's not going to. He slides past his pit stall, and that's going to cost him time. And it looks like
2 tires for Warren and 4 for Paisley.
Takes 2. 4 for Paisley, 4 for Scotty, and everybody else behind him. So Jason Warren is the driver that's going to take that shot to try to, I mean, it's not the worst call in the world. What are we going to get here? Maybe not a green, white, checkered, but at least a 3-lap shootout here. If he can just hold on, we've seen, I mean, we talked earlier about how Scotty Stevens couldn't pass Jason for at least 10 laps. Now that's on the same tires. But, yeah. I mean, if we're on a green, white, checkered, that's only 2 laps. That's not a lot of time, even if you're on 4 fresh tires compared to the 2 in front of you.
And Scotty Stevens is there as well, so, and he's going to start behind Warren. So Will's going to have his work cut out for him. Jason's going to, all these top 5 drivers are going to have their work caught. Yeah, you get what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it's the. I want to say it is, but I just don't think that's the craziest call in the world for Jason Warren. As we are going to have a green, white, checkered. I told you, Will. We're going to have a green, white, checkered, and it's not. I like the call honestly because even if he's faster than Will Paisley, he would be starting in second unless he executed with 4 or better. But say he started in second with the same amount of or the same tires. There's no guarantee that you'll get a good enough restart and pass Will Paisley in 2 laps. So he's going to control this field, and he gets to start whenever he wants to get the best jump he can. It may work out, it may not, but I like it at least for now.
I like the call. It's gutsy. It's maybe not so gutsy. You know, he knows his car. Probably going to have to get 3 laps at most, and I don't think you can pass Jason Warren in 3 laps if he doesn't make any mistakes.
Well, unfortunately for these other drivers, maybe, we're going to have 2 to go because we're going to get the 3 to go when we get the 1. We're going to go 3 laps to go when we get the 1 to go sign, and then when we get the green flag, there will be 2 laps to go. And I told you guys earlier. I basically called it. I told you every time I broadcast, almost every time, there ends up being a late race restart or a green, white, checkered, and that's exactly what we're getting here.
Yeah, and this will not be an official green, white checker. It's be an old-fashioned green, white checker, so we'll still have 2 of those in our pocket.
Yep.
So, Strap in, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a fun finish, I think.
I mean, in 2018, we saw this work out for Chase Elliott at Dover. He stayed out on. I mean, he stayed out. He didn't even go take tires. He stayed out, was on the outside. Denny Hamlin had, I believe, 2 fresh tires, and he still held them off. So this is just such a tough track to pass that if Jason can execute here, I think it'll work out. But I'm going to leave it up to the drivers now. I'm going to stop speculating. We're going to let the actions kind of work out themselves, and we're going to see what driver can win here at Dover International Speedway.
It is definitely time to go time, boys.
Pace car's off. Warren is off instantly. The green flag is out. 2 laps to go. 1 lap until we get that white flag. Can we make it around, though? It's going to be a busy track.
Not
and
a huge jump.
Here comes Will Paisley on those 4 fresh tires compared to 2 for Warren. And Warren and he's turned. But the green flag stays out. Will Paisley blinked, and I think it blinked him into the back bumper of Jason Warren.
And Warren is done.
Man, I mean, the bad luck for Warren continues. He always talks about how he's never going to win in these cars because of his bad luck, and unfortunately it continues. But for Will Paisley, the race goes on, and he's in the lead. And Reckon behind him. Garrett Kinder's going to try to do everything he can, but he's not going to have anything for that 93 around turn 4. The checkered flag is out. William Paisley wins at Dover International Speedway. Mickey Isaac finishing 3rd with Garrett Kinder in 2nd.
Oh. Okay.
No comment. We're going to move on. We're just going to move on to the Yeah.
So, William Paisley, your winner. Garrett Kinder in 2nd. Mickey Isaac, 3rd. And look at Michael Swink from 23rd to 4th. 19 spots up. Our spotlight driver puts the spotlight on himself by finishing 4th tonight.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get our race winner, Will, in here.
Definitely.
Hey, Will, Zach and Sam in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Hey, man. Well, you start out a lap down, and you come back to win the race. Take us through kind of. I mean, I think you were going to say something, but after the fact, after you say that, take us through how it felt working through traffic there.
Yeah, first things first. I believe it was Jason Warren. I really didn't mean to do that. The 2 tire difference was just insane because I don't know. We had almost 50 laps on those tires, and I had a run, and it looked like he was trying to give the inside, and then he came back across, and I mean, I just couldn't avoid him. Really sorry. I mean, that is my fault. But yeah, it was a very difficult one to say the least. I had to do a lot of overtaking this race. It's just, oh my. This track is not one of my better ones, I would say. So I'm actually pretty happy to come out of it like this. Yeah, just feel really bad about that for Jason.
I had a question and I lost it. How were those? You did a really good job after those guys pit of holding them off on older tires than the guys behind you. How was that car doing with those old tires?
Honestly, it was fine. I would have been able to make it to the end, no problem. It was just, I don't know. When that caution came out, my heart kind of sank a little bit because I knew something could end up happening. And I mean, Jason tried to go for the strategy that he did, and I mean, it's just things ended up happening, obviously. But the tires, it was an interesting one to try to save the tires for sure, because fuel wasn't the issue here. It was definitely the what's it called, the tires that were the problem with this one.
Well, congratulations.
I'm working on about like 36 hours of awake time at the moment. So
Congratulations on the win. You got any shout outs for us?
yeah, shout out to my dad. Obviously, he is part of the reason why I'm in this league in the first place. I guess I can give a shout out to both the 12 of William Griffith and sorry, the 32 of Jason Warren. I had contact with both of them. I think the one with Griffith might have been netcode, but I have yet to review it yet. But
yeah, we saw that one earlier. It was
yeah,
netcode.
was it? It was netcode. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I wasn't completely sure with that, and I wanted to make sure to check on that. But yeah, obviously, very sorry to the 32 of Jason Warren.
All right. Well, all right. Well, thank you. We'll see you again next week.
Yeah, have a good one.
All right, now we'll move on to second place, Garrett Kinder. Hey, Garrett, Zach and Sam in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Man, you started this race 22nd. How did it feel? How did your car feel specifically through the traffic? Because, I mean, this isn't the easiest place in the world to pass. So did dirty air make that much of a difference? And, yeah, how did your car feel?
You could definitely tell whenever you're running right behind somebody that dirty air caused you to do a little aero push. But, man, hot and slick. That car, it was a handful, especially that last run before the last restart. I'd chewed pretty much everything I had up, and I believe it was Mickey Isaac that was coming up behind me. He definitely was faster than me. I was just hanging it out and trying everything I could to stay in front of him.
Now, the big question I got for you tonight was earlier while you guys were practicing, I'm setting up my camera angles and everything, and you were running the most consistent as far as being on the track doing practice laps. Seemed like every time I turned around, you were trying to figure out a different way to wreck, and here you come home second. Was you just trying to get all your wrecks out of the way in practice?
Yeah, if you figure out how to wreck, you figure out how not to wreck, Sam. Dang.
All right. Well, that's what I was wondering. It was a really good run for you tonight, buddy. You got any shout outs?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody. Of course, Reaper Racing, y'all two being a part of that team. Up in the booth tonight, I really want y'all to run to some of these races. They're an absolute blast. Everybody over at Full Send, of course, everybody over at Original Rebels Racing, Matt, and I believe it's Chris and William, and I believe Kyle is now running this along with Jesse Necula. So they're putting on a pretty good series for this. I really enjoy running this series. Thank y'all up in the booth. Give a shout out to Jason Warren. It was a bit of crap luck there for him, but he'll bounce back and he'll get one.
Well, thanks for putting on a good show for us. Good race tonight, and we'll see you again next time.
10-4, guys. Have a good one.
All right, and finally, Mickey Isaac, a nice race for him. Started 13th, finishes 3rd. Hey, Mickey, Zach, and Sam in the booth. You got a copy?
Roger.
Hey, well, I mean, to be completely honest, we didn't see your name a lot kind of in that top 10, or if I did, then I blanked. But was the plan of this race to just try to stay out of all that trouble that you thought maybe happened to try to get that top 3 finish that you did?
Yeah, I know there's going to be a lot of accidents and wrecks. Best thing to do is just avoid them all.
Hey, Mickey, I've always said that every time we broadcast and a lot of times when we race, you're just sneaky fast. We don't hear from you. You don't make a whole lot of noise, and then all of a sudden there you are up top 5. Got you a podium finish tonight. It was a good race. How was them tires working for you tonight?
They're doing pretty good. But for some reason, I can save tires on this track. Don't know how, don't know why. Kind of messed myself up speeding in the pits and had to work my way back up through the field.
You put on a little bit. Yeah, it's easy for me to say. You put on a good show for us tonight, Mickey. Got any shout outs?
Just you guys, y'all do a good job broadcasting. Everybody in the league for being competitive and sportsman, and I just really enjoy it.
Well, thank you, Mickey. We'll see you on the track. Thanks.
Have a good night.
All right, and that rounds out our top 3 of tonight's race. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up the results while I do. Last thoughts on tonight's race.
Good race. Had some long runs, a lot less under caution than I was thinking, which is always a good thing. We had some drama. We had some beating and banging. We had some racing. All in all, good show tonight.
Yeah, we had 32 caution laps tonight, which for a 150 lap race is not bad at all for a race here at Dover. So, yeah, good show put on these guys, these drivers here tonight. Yeah, I guess all we have left to really talk about, actually, I'll go through your results real quick. Let you check out the entire finishing results. Finally, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors last time tonight. First of all, Jason Reisman Life Insurance, Keswick Group. If you, accidents happen, so you want to get those protected, get it protected with Keswick Group. Find them on Facebook at Jason Reisman Life Insurance Agent or by email at reisman.getinsured@gmail.com. Once again, at reisman.getinsured@gmail.com. And then finally, Smeal Racing Designs, who sponsored tonight's race. Check them out on Facebook. You can contact them through there, I believe. Not 100%, but I'm pretty sure you can contact them through there. I checked their Facebook out before this race, and some really cool paint schemes that they put together. So thank you guys for tuning in to tonight's race here at Dover. A great race put on these guys tonight. They put on a show every single week in these Cup cars, so I'm looking forward to what they can do next week. It's been Zach and Sam Wetstein in the booth. Have a good night.